Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Nerd On Update, the show where we talk about the nerdy things that we adore, that we love, that we caress at night when we're by ourselves. How was that? Was that good? Was that good, Dave?
We also answered questions from you, the people.
Yes, Bane line. That line right there. There it is.
Yeah, that happens. That's pretty good. It's all right. Before we,
he's caressing.
Get started. Y'all know the rules. We don't introduce the host or anything like that. We're gonna do a little chit chat, and then we'll get right into the news, baby.
This episode is not brought to you by the Steve Austin Broken Skull American Lager from El Segundo Brewery. It's not brought to you by that. Not.
Anyways, we talk about what we've been up to. We have a full house today. It's pretty exciting. We haven't had that in fucking almost a whole year. For what?
3 weeks.
Almost a whole year.
I just had one, but
a full crew.
This exact group.
Yeah. like 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, maybe a month.
Tom got incepted just now. Look at him. Look at them all. Look at them all.
You ever see that one video of the stupid podcast where a guy figures out that you don't have to catch your doo-doo after you shit it out, and he's been catching it with his hand?
Thanks.
And then they're like, "You touched your shit?" And he's like, "With the tissue." And then he's like, "You guys just let it fall out of your butt?" And then like they're like, "Do you not?" Yeah. And then he just all this time. I must have got this wrong.
And then all this time,
it's like, holy fuck!
I think I need this.
This grown ass man doesn't know how to shit. Anyways,
catch your shit,
to be fair, if no one teaches you,
yes, they do.
I'm just saying. I said if.
Oh, I thought you said no one. Just to be fair, no one teaches you. Like, excuse me.
Someone had to have shown him.
Corey almost became that guy. No one teaches you, right?
No one teaches you, so I get it.
Oh shit.
Anyway, I don't use the tissue anymore.
It's just straight hand. Anyways,
I have gloves now.
How's it going, y'all? Haven't seen some of y'all in a minute. Corey, what you been up to? How's it been?
I've been good, man. I've went camping with Juniper for her first camping trip ever. It was a lot of fun. She had way too much fun, and I think the house is a little depressing now for her. She's like, this blows. I'll be really honest in comparison to our last weekend we just had. But no, man, I've been good. I've been, working on some stuff, playing some Magic here and there. Just working on me a little bit. A little me time.
Nice.
A little parent time. What about you, Barry? What you got going on?
Oh,
nice.
So exactly. Yeah. Carry on. Got myself a bit of an ear infection for the first time since I was like 12 years old. So I can't hear out of this ear right now. So if I'm oddly quiet or oddly loud, it's because I'm trying to compensate.
That blows.
It's weird. Time. It's super weird. Work today was bizarre. Every time someone would come up next to me, because when I look at my computer screens, my right ear is to the wall, my left ear is out to the office, and people would come up and be like, hey David, and I would just be like, they like tap me on the shoulder, like, what are you doing here? Like, what is happening? Speaking of Magic.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't think I can get this thing in the shot right now. I'm finally compiling my collection into a 5,000 card box, and I still don't think this is nearly enough.
I have 5 of those.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
That's 25,000 cards, Corey.
Plus, I got like 3 of these guys.
That's why do you anti-aircraft?
So
why do you have 25,000 cards?
Yeah, I'll get rid of them.
25,000. Where did you get 25,000?
I've been playing for 17 years, 18 years.
I guess I did take a big chunk because I started playing in like 98, like 97, 98, and then I stopped in like 2008. And then I literally would just buy a pack now and then, like every couple years. I'd be like, oh, when I'm going through my collection, I'm like, oh, why do I have these 3 unopened booster packs from 2016? Like, I just bought them at Target and threw them in a fucking box.
I was a box kid. Like, I would buy the boxes when they'd come out. I'd spend my part-time job money on booster boxes. Because back then they were $70, $80 for a booster box.
You were playing at a time where you had the income and it was affordable to do.
And at the time I was like, dual lands for $20. That's way too expensive, and now they're all $400, $500.
$50.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to buy a lot of those, and the longest break I ever took was like a year or maybe 2.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So-
Okay. So this makes sense then.
Yeah.
Because
It's a lot of cards.
Yeah. I like I said, I have the majority of them will fit into this, I believe. But that doesn't count, like now that we're buying like decks and stuff and building commander decks, like that's not even that's a shelf somewhere in the house, and it's just fucking ridiculous.
Dicks.
So yeah, so I got a box. I'm finally sorting. That's the big thing. I'm sorting my collection. I'm
We'll get on spell
scanning it
table
all
soon
in.
enough. Yeah.
I'm scanning and pricing it
Or
out.
the TCG.
Yeah, we have a couple different apps that I'm comparing, seeing which one kind of works best as far as the database goes. Dragon Shield, their app, it actually looks pretty good. It has ads, but it seems like it might be a solid
I want to check that out.
option. You could sort by like mana cost and type and stuff like that. Whereas TCG
like
players just like, hey, here's a list.
And sometimes it scans it 3 or 4 times, and you're like, well, fuck.
Exactly. Yeah, and it sometimes has a hard time. It's like, oh, is this the one from Visions or is this one from the Dark? And I'm like, I don't know. It was 1997, like 95. Like I don't know, dude. So
You're supposed to tell me.
You're supposed to know. So I'm scanning in all my cards. I'm not alphabetizing.
Is this a
them yet.
blender?
I'm doing it by color. I'm doing it by color and by type. And I have a friend who just bought like a $5,000 collection from an antique shop, and
Holy
5,000. I'm sorry, 5,000 card, not $5,000.
I was like, wow.
No, he paid like $300 for this
Okay.
5,000 card collection, and he has a ton of duplicates. So we're gonna just swap out some duplicates so we could just diversify our collections a little bit, and then he's looking like he's got the magic bug bit him hard. He's looking at buying every 1 cent card on tcgplayer.com, and I'm like, that is, and he's like, it's only gonna be like less than $100 to get like thousands of cards. I was like, well,
And then do
yeah,
what with
that
those?
math checks out, dude.
Yeah.
That's boy math right
yes,
there. That's
boy
some
math.
boy math.
Boy math.
He just wants to build decks, and everyone's like, why don't you just buy singles first? He's like, no, I want to just
Buying
have
singles.
collections that I can draw
Yeah.
from, which speaks to me. Just having a collection to pull from.
That's why I
is-
have
that's the way I
5
like it.
boxes
So,
of cards.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
My buddy,
wow.
my
All those
buddy,
words.
shout out to Neil from Storyboard.
Hi, Neil.
I built him this list for a green Stompy deck, and I had, out of 100 cards, I already had 77 or 78 of them for him. You know, I went a little over. He's gonna have to do his own lands and stuff like that. But like, I was like, you can choose from these. I have a whole deck for you. Go. You can upgrade it, of course, because this is just from my boxes. But this will work. This will work.
So your weekend, Barry?
Yeah, it was sorting cards. Went to a pumpkin patch. Took my kids to a pumpkin patch.
Yes.
Only bought the little guy pumpkins for like the the centerpiece for the table, because otherwise they'd just be moldy by the time anything cool happened. Hung out, like I said, organized some cards, cleaned the house a little bit, did some boring shit like that.
Awesome.
Did some laundry, watched some football for the first time in a really long time.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
pigskin.
Yes, that
mainly,
one.
Yeah, mainly because it was the Toy Story one games in London, and then I'm in a fantasy league at work, so now I actually have to pay attention because now there's money riding on it. So that's about it. Steve's, what about you? I Tom, what about you? Steve's drinking beer.
I swear to God, is Steve's like, in a way, sometimes I feel like you were just born in the wrong decade. I feel like you could have been born in the 2000s. You'd be a perfect content creator right now.
No, my decade hasn't arrived yet.
No, you're
My
just
decade hasn't
you're
arrived.
just
It's not
shilling
here yet.
so fucking hard.
Yeah. Yes. Not sponsored by El Segundo Brewery. Me? Is it me? Is it back on me?
Yeah.
Terramana, Camisa, Zoa, we get it.
Just supporting my favorite wrestlers in any way possible. Good weekend. It's a good weekend. Yeah. I started a horror marathon that Tom gave me some tips on. I did watch.
Shut your whore mouth.
I can't say it. I watched some quality films for the first 2 days. Just remembered I can't say it.
They're
And I'm gonna abide by
on
rules.
the
They're
Discord.
one was on. What?
The list is
on
on
the
Discord.
So I can say it then. Safe?
No, just
Safe?
tell people which
No.
one. Just
It's
tell
on
me which one
Discord.
they
Check it out on
List is
Discord.
on Discord. Go to Discord. The list is
Was
there.
it the
31
first one?
days.
Was it the second one?
I saw both.
Oh, are you keeping along?
I'm keeping along.
Yeah.
Hey.
Samesies.
Your day. Yeah.
2 for 2.
Hey.
I'm gonna try to get 3 in tonight, actually, because I don't know if I have time tomorrow.
Nice. Sorry. I also finished The Shining this weekend, the book, for the first time ever.
Who wrote the book?
You can talk about that.
Thank you. Awesome. Good. Because I had always heard how Stephen King despises.
Like, who wrote The Shining? I'm like, oh. Mike Flanagan.
Despises Mike Flanagan. Yes.
Oh, because he did Doctor. Oh.
Because he despises Stanley Kubrick's version because of how he altered things. And I never knew exactly what the altering was. Now I know. And yes, while I still consider The Shining movie as one of the top 10 favorite horror movies, the book is so much better. It does such a better job. Wendy is a stronger character, more focus on Danny with his shining and how he and what it does to him. Jack is more of a tragic character than he is just, whereas Jack Nicholson, I always felt like they didn't do a good enough job showing that the Overlook was taking Jack Nicholson over, just that it drove him crazy and made him go mad.
Well, that was like Stephen King's main complaint about the casting is like, fucking Jack Nicholson's crazy.
Yeah.
You just
like there's moments of Jack Torrance in the book trying to fight the Overlook from taking him over, and he even in the part where in the movie he's chasing Danny, he literally like is able to get a moment where he takes back control of his body and says, "Run, Danny, run," and he tries to save his son to the very end.
Barry, run.
Yes, that too. Barry, run. But those elements, again, I'll still watch the movie and enjoy the hell out of Jack Nicholson being crazy, but the book had just so much more depth to it than the movie did, and Kubrick just made it his own different thing. But yeah, now I get it. So now I'm catching up on lost decades and reading Stephen King novels from like years ago.
Nice.
That actually seems pretty fun.
I started watching those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all on streamers, which are still struck places at which the current SAG-AFTRA strike is ongoing. So if you want to see that list, go check out that motherfucking Discord in that movie channel stream. Each day is the day of the movie that, we're watching it. There are specific days that are you watch a thing on. Steve's will really like the last one.
Oh, of course.
I had to pick on the 13th, and they were like, "You have to do this." I was like, "Y'all are stealing my pick away from me," but for the greater good and the theme, whatever. But no, it's a little fun thing. The funny thing about it is like I knew tonight was gonna happen, so like. We won't be done with this until like 9 o'clock, and then I'll have to download it and then upload it to YouTube and do all the things. And it'll be like 9:30. I have to go shower, and then it'll be probably 10 o'clock. And as a responsible adult, I have to like go to bed, so I probably won't watch the second movie. So I watched it last night. So yeah, you have to do those things sometimes because everyone has lives, and that's why I figured I was like when Steve's like, "Oh, I'll follow along." I was like, "You gonna follow along? What the fuck?" Like I know you got your own rituals and traditions, so I was like. 2-3 of the guys that are doing it that we made the draft of are single as fuck, and the other one's married with 2 dogs, and the guy who's married with 2 dogs got like all these trips, and he works a desk job, so he's like either I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to watch these movies, or I'll watch multiple on a weekend. And all of us got our own shit, and so like one of them's a teacher, and I'm just like I got my own full-time job, so I'm like fuck, when we did this last time it was like a world shutdown, so it's a little different. But anyways,
you're making it work.
I know that I'm the last one awake in this house, so I know I have a window of time where it's just me. My wife will watch some horror movies, but others she's like, "Nah, I'm good, thanks." So I got a window in there. So yeah, I'm making it work. I'm making it work.
Tomorrow is Mean Girls Day, which also means it's my birthday. So I got myself a nice fatty tattoo. So
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom B. Happy birthday to you.
Did I turn to like Gumby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
Tom B.
Can you do a quick shout out to 51 Jonathan?
Yeah,
showed his son the John Carpenter's The Fog and John Carpenter's The Thing, and he loved it. 2 amazing John Carpenter films. Well done.
One of them is my favorite horror film of all time.
Classic, and it bombed like hella hard in the box office.
Yeah.
And we have an episode about it on our
So did
feed.
Bottle Rocket. Almost made Owen Wilson quit acting.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, went out, had some suds with the buds, and then I did some other work, and now I'm here. I don't know how the rest of the week is gonna go for birthday stuff because whatever. It lands on a week, so it sucks. But yeah. I think it's time for us to get into the news, and we got some news for y'all today. I feel like, what was it, the Danger Twins? Would you call each other?
Danger Twins.
Oh,
Danger Twins.
The wrestling.
Wrestle Bros, man.
Wrestle Bros?
I don't
Wrestle
know, man.
Bros.
I don't know.
Danger Twins.
Dastardly
Like-
duo.
Those words don't even sound the same
The
though.
Danger Twins.
Horrible-ary
crew.
batteries.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Horrible-ary.
Annulax batteries.
Great.
Horrible-ary batteries.
It's not even close to what.
Great.
Hey, but you know what? He's a wrestler, so good
You know what?
job. Tom.
That-
I love that.
My
I
brain
can't
is
tell you.
getting
I
bigger.
saw that in theaters with my wife.
She could
Were you
not
there
com-
with us, Tom?
It was our second time watching it, and then
Yeah.
it was Dan's first time, and we were like, do you need to leave?
That line
I
where
still
he
laugh
just
at
sits up and
those.
goes, "Horrible-ary batteries." She lost it through the next scene. Was laugh crying.
I still
And
laugh at
then-
that scene, dude.
Every
Nearly
time.
died when Star-Lord comes back and goes, "We need to get the Annulax batteries. They're called Horrible-ary batteries." No, they're not.
Batista's commitment to it is so well done.
I've never seen her laugh like that.
Not
good.
promoting
I was like, "Do
a
you need to
movie,
go?"
promoting the
No.
fuck out of Batista. He's
Yes.
absolutely
Dave
become
Bautista,
100%.
my
American
favorite
treasure.
actor that's come out of
Hey,
wrestling.
if he's directing.
Um, and
It's okay. I love Batista. He can say it. It's okay.
and
I know.
I think he's
No, I meant easily.
he's
Either way, whatever you meant.
yeah he's
condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
he's so good in one of his most recent projects, and I was like, oh, I fucking love it. He's so good. Anyways, news. So Danger Duo.
Wrestle Bros. Jesus Christ. How horrible air batteries. The Wrestle Bros are in the house, and we've got news for you coming from both WWE and AEW. So I'm going to give you first the WWE news, and Barry's going to knock it out of the ballpark with his AEW news. So first up,
Oh, wait, hold on.
WWE.
We have to clap. We have to clap. I'm sorry. It's a tradition.
Yeah.
Wrestle Bros.
Horrible-ary batteries.
This is Brad.
Annulax batteries.
There it is.
Okay, now go on.
All right. So there's been some swapping between companies over the last week, and first I'm going to give you the who the WWE acquired over a week ago. That's 6-7 days ago. Jade Cargill, who was easily one of the top names in the women's division in AEW. Her contract had expired, and she has now since signed a multi-year contract with the WWE. She's coming here. There's a video of her going to the WWE Performance Center. She's walking in. Now, this woman is
Who's
easily
this?
one of these. Jade Cargill is her name. Easily one of the
C-A-R-G-I-L-L.
easily one of the strongest women you're going to see in professional wrestling right now. Just she's cut like there's an 8-pack going, I think.
Okay.
She's got that silver fox hair going. Woman's fire.
I'm
She
showing her
held
on the screen.
TBS championship. Perfect. She held the TBS championship for 508 days. That is one of the women's titles in AEW. She held that for 508 days before dropping it to was it Chris Statlander or Chris Statlander? Yeah, she dropped it to Chris Statlander, who is now the current TBS champ. And since then, Jade is now with WWE. She's training, and she's even already making some comments on Twitter. As last seen, she was watching Monday Night Raw tonight, and she was sending out tweets saying, "So fans, who should be my first victim? Hashtag WWE Raw." Because you all know Jade Cargill is big on charity. Hashtag WWE Raw. And then said, "Just standing next to me is a blessing, so let me help you out, my first victim." And she left it at that. So she could be doing this on SmackDown as well, or she could be telling us that Raw will be her home. We don't know. But big recruitment by WWE. Jade, I think, is a fantastic in-ring performer. I like her character. There's already talk of her facing Rhea Ripley, the women's world champion WWE. There's talks of her either facing or teaming up with Bianca Belair. There's so many ideas that are going on right now. We won't know until she comes in the ring. But as of right now, WWE has acquired Jade Cargill for a multi-year tenure.
And the big thing is in the AEW media scrum this past weekend, they asked Tony Khan, the CEO of AEW, his thoughts on Jade, like what had happened at the end. And basically he brought up when he was a kid, he had watched Ric Flair leave the WWF. And when Ric Flair did that, he had a match with Mr. Perfect. He went out and there was no shit talking, no, like bad blood. There probably was, but like it seemed like, at least on the surface, it was very much like a respectful way of him leaving. And he made it very clear that they were in negotiations. She came with an amount. He came back with a counter offer. She came back with another amount. He then went over that offer, and she still basically said, I'm going to WWE. And he kept the door open. And as he put it, he basically said, as soon as he realized that it was like for sure happening, he was like, I want to give you the best send off. So, they had Chris Statlander come back. They had her win. They had Jade, come back and attack her and set up a rematch that she then lost. And basically, she went out and the door is still open for AEW. He said, he's a great relationship with her, but he knew once the contract negotiations, like once she had said no, he's like, okay, cool, we're gonna let you go, and we're not gonna make it a crappy, like we bench you for weeks or anything like that, which is a cool change of pace because a lot of times, like when you're gonna leave one company, go to another, like, basically, let's put it this way: if you're gonna leave WWE, Vince was gonna be like, no, you're gonna tweet about it, and I'm gonna bench you for 6 months and keep extending your contract because you were injured and all this shit. Like now, that's like, okay, cool, let them leave
on a
and
bang.
go to another place. Exactly. Speaking of, look at that segue.
I like it.
Last night was
butter.
Thanks, man. AEW Wrestle Dream, which was a pay-per-view created to honor the memory of Antonio Inoki, legendary Japanese professional wrestler from All Japan, New Japan, any Japan really,
all the Japan
and all of the Japans. And Antonio Inoki had passed away last year, so this was a tribute to him. And there was a lot of like dope, like super technical matches. There was some hard, strong style matches with the Japanese style, Japanese wrestlers showcased.
The match Bill Burr does commentary for about the wrestling match he always remembers.
Yeah. So it was a phenomenal pay-per-view. And at the end, we had a classic double cross in the main event. Nick Wayne turned on Darby Allin. The mat is all ripped up, so they could, hurt him on the wooden boards. There's chairs, there's steel steps, all the cool stuff.
They even beat up Sting.
They beat up Sting, a 60-something-year-old man.
Dicks.
And
they have teach you this lesson, old man.
They have Sting. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? So they have him laying down with his head on a chair, holding the chair in the air. For it's Christian Cage, by the way, who's his one of his classic moves is the concerto. He would also hit with his longtime friend and tag team partner.
What a good
Edge.
name.
Yeah, it's a dope name. And yeah, you're sandwiching their head between the chairs. Really easy to, just hit the chair on the other chair so it sounds really loud, but you don't actually hit their head. Lights go out. Okay, lights go out. Everyone's like, oh, who the hell is it going to be? Little vignette plays.
The Tarantino-like feature presentation.
Leather jacket, skull on the back, gets into the car, driving through
Grindhouse. Very Grindhouse.
Seattle, very Grindhouse. Exactly. Pulls into the alleyway, gets out, see the boots, cuts. And then the music, almost the same as his WWE music. It was, in WWE, it was You Think You Know Me, but now in AEW, it was You Think You Know Him. And then Metalingus by Alter Bridge as Edge debuts as Adam Copeland.
His real name,
Adam Copeland. He's now debuted in AEW.
Wow.
Jumping from WWE.
I see clearly.
Goes out, seems like he's going to join Christian, takes the chair, seems like he's going to do it. Then he turns and he swings the chairs at everybody. He swings the chairs at Christian, throws the chair at Luchasaurus. Perfect placement for that chair, by the way, for him to spear Luchasaurus onto the chair. It was
perfect. Perfect placement.
So, in the media scrum following that, Edge, aka the Rated R Superstar, aka Adam Copeland, basically went on to explain why he came to AEW, what he wanted to do. He wanted to work every week. He wanted to help out younger talent. He wanted to do all these things, and he also clarified on Twitter that he didn't leave WWE because of any bad feelings. It was just his contract was up. They didn't really have a lot they wanted to do with him. He wanted to keep going. He had new ideas that he wanted to explore. He wanted to keep wrestling, and WWE was kind of like, oh, you're getting a little up there. Like, we're going to kind of maybe turn you into a part-timer kind
of did everything there is to do in WWE.
Yeah, he's held every title. He wrestled everybody he wanted to. So he went out, a great match in Toronto. In the WWE, his contract expired, and then once that non-compete clause was up, boom, he's in AEW. Trademarked the Rated R Superstar because WWE let that trademark lapse, which now we don't know. Is that going to be okay? Is he going to be vulgar? Is he going to be violent? Is it going to be, kind of what he was
like
in
2010s?
The 2010s,
late 2000s.
So we'll see what happens, but it's dope. Of course, a lot of people are saying AEW once again, WWE's retirement home, but I very much disagree with that because a lot of these dudes get to go there and breathe new life into their career. I'm stoked for it. I'm excited to see what happens. Christian's had a dope run in there, so we're looking forward to it. It's a lot of good swapsies in the WWE and the AEW universe.
And Edge has always been like a favorite. Like fans have always liked the guy. He's always been fun to watch. I had the honor of seeing him at WrestleMania 39 in that Hell in a Cell match against Finn. The energy there for him still extremely relevant. So it's gonna be cool to see him performing in AEW. Also, he's an actor as well. He was in one of the Highlander movies when he still had long hair.
Was that WrestleMania the one where you could have hung out with me, but you didn't?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Cheers.
Wasn't he also in? Was it the Vikings? Was he in the Vikings series?
Ooh, I don't remember.
I didn't watch it, but I think he did a couple things. He was in. He was also in. He was the CW show. Which CW show was he in?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Was it Flash or was it Green Arrow?
I think Flash.
I think it was Green Arrow. Earlier seasons.
Arrow.
Maybe.
Yep. As Adam Smasher.
That's what he was. Yeah. So yeah,
kind of like always been like a surfer vampire in my opinion.
Yeah, he's in
What his
Vikings.
whole like attitude was. Yeah. Oh, he was in Vikings. Nice.
Knew it.
There's your Wrestle Bros news.
There's your dastardly duo. Wrestling news.
Corey?
Am I all that's left?
I
pretty
got
quick.
some
You got
stuff, but
time.
I'm doing the
Go ahead,
visuals.
Oh, excuse me. All right.
With the tissues.
Tomorrow, Tom, for your birthday, Wizards of the Coast has decided to start revealing the entirety of the Doctor Who Commander decks. I'm pretty excited about that for what I've seen so far. It looks really flavorful, looks really fun. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I'm looking forward to it. I want to get my hands on at least one of them. I'm thinking about there's a Suspend Tribal or Typal, right, guys? And so I really want to try that out because I've never seen a Suspend themed deck before. And as someone who's played, I know. That's what I'm saying. So as someone who's been playing Magic for quite a long time and has always had a soft spot for Suspend cards, even though they're like telegraphing your every move, these seem to be fun because you can suspend things and they have what's called basically time walking abilities where you play a spell. There's one that says time walk, it's pay one, draw a card, and remove suspend counters from any number of suspended cards that you have, or add suspend counters to any number of cards you have. It's also ones that time walk 3, so you remove 3 immediately and just cast an extra turn spell or whatever it may be, which is probably what I'd be running.
Is this font
I'm
for real?
What?
Like the character font and like the creature font is different.
Yeah, it's a little more stylized. They leaked 16 more today, purposefully, not like leaked. Like they spoiled 16 more cards today through different media outlets to get the hype going for tomorrow's big reveal of most of them. But yeah, looking forward to it. The villains also look really great. A lot of anyone who's watched Doctor Who. I haven't even kept up with a lot of the more recent seasons, but even someone like me who's watched through the 10th and 11th Doctor, it's pretty exciting to see these crossovers. The only other bit of news I have from Magic is Jurassic Park cards are coming, and I'm pretty pumped. The Ian Malcolm one was great, but for me, the flavor win was the flip card, the Welcome to Flip It Jurassic Park, where the first side is you give all your opponents, you turn their creatures into walls, then you you create a dinosaur and then destroy those walls, flip it, and all the dinosaurs in your graveyard get escape, which I thought was just chef's kiss. So yeah, that's the Magic news for the week. Looking forward to Tom's birthday, to wish him a happy birthday, but to look at the Commander decks that are going to be spoiled for Doctor Who.
Just no other reason.
Yeah.
What is Nedry in that deck?
We don't know yet.
I see
Indominus They've only
Rex.
spoiled 3 of the cards. Yeah, Indominus Rex, Welcome to Jurassic Park, and Ian Malcolm, Chaotician.
Yeah.
I will be building a Alan Grant deck.
Of course.
It's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he's probably going to be green, white, and red would be my guess, but we'll see.
I think that's solid
Hoping
guess.
for a Dotson card.
art. All right.
It's going to be in there. You know it's going to be in there.
Dotson here.
For me, I have not so fun news. But it is news.
That's right. I should have ended it.
Okay.
It's okay. Tom Hanks, actor, now currently I think the Zeitgeist, America's Dad currently, because he's not canceled or anything. Took to social media to announce how there is a dental company using his likeness in a fake AI thing to promote their company, kind of not really sparking too much of incendiary fire upon the dental company, but kind of giving the boogeyman its face and name of this is the AI shit that people are talking about, where people can just go run rampant and support their shit and do their shit without any type of permission or anything like that, which is again the unfortunate ugly rear hide anyways
Sure.
Of the AI kind of existential crisis which the entertainment industry is currently facing, and that also is compounded.
Start with the fact that he's alive.
Yeah, please, dude. You made me think Tom was dead.
No, and then that's also compounded with the fact that someone who is dead, Robin Williams, his voice is currently being used in social in things,
right.
and Zelda Williams, his daughter, is taking also to social media to kind of start being like, hey, this is that pervertation that people think oh, it's not a big deal, AI is whatever. And it's no, it's not whatever. It's just like any other tool. It's a terrible thing in terrible hands. It could be a great thing in great hands. But there is a movie that is out currently that does talk about that shit, and it does feel like a good precursor to how Dune talked about that shit, because Dune's entire premise is AI isn't necessarily bad, but humankind has outlawed it because humans give their sufficiency to AI, which indeed just lets them be enslaved by better AI that other people with different interests will create. So
And spice.
That's the premise of Warhammer actually as well.
That being said,
And spices.
I'm getting closer and closer to potentially getting a Warhammer kit set. I was talking to my friend who currently plays, Mark, who Corey knows, and he was potentially saying I could do Necrons because I have a Necron deck in Magic, but he was also saying maybe the Dark Lords or Night Lords or whatever the fuck. They're an offshoot of the Astartes, but they're chaos wise,
right?
Or he's you could do the Tau if you wanted to get your Gundam going on. Then I was he's you just have 4 big mechs. So I was maybe
Dark Angels, but
they're Night
Dark
Lords or something like
Lords.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Night Lords. It's Corvus. What's their name? Their Primarch is Corvus something or another.
Not Corvus Black.
Cornelius.
Corthaniel.
Nathaniel. So to clarify, everything Tom said is the horrors of AI. Thank you, Tom.
Conrad Cruz.
Tom Hanks.
Thank you.
Tom Hanks is still alive.
Yeah,
Hanks
that was a
is
big
still
part.
alive.
Yes.
Thank you.
But he's the
He's
one
actually-
that took to social media, which is why I said
Yes.
he said
yes.
it.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Just the way you started was sad news. Tom Hanks. What?
It's I actually I did an interview. There's some researchers at University of Washington and UNR who are doing some research on AI and also technology in general in education. And I actually got to do an interview, and the guy basically had to clarify because like we were talking about stuff and he could tell like every time he'd bring up AI, I was kind of like, and he'd be like, well, like what if, and he would explain something that like him and some other programmers had designed for use in education. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like you said, Tom, like it is
Absolutely.
it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not being used to replace people, replace jobs, replace creativity, but if it's being used to, I mean, he even brought up an example of something kind of simple, like, you know, if it was used for test grading, you know, like you have your phone, your camera, and you look at something, and the AI is able to do these things and pull this information from it and give it all to you in a, you know, in a spreadsheet or whatever. I'm like, cool. That's the kind of stuff. Again, I mean, it's just like social media. I've used this analogy before. It's like a shovel. You can use a shovel to dig a trench and get water to your crops. You can use a shovel to beat someone over the head and bury them in said trench. It's how you use it.
Yeah,
You can use it to hit Mick Foley in the back of the head, make him fall
like
into the
there,
grave.
you know, there was this
Wow.
like viral tweet that went out about like how this guy who's like, you know, promoting AI, and the unfortunate thing is like he's definitely one of those like crypto bro dudes, but he's saying like, oh, this will change education and shit like that. It's like, look how this breaks down what the nucleus is and like the cell wall and all that shit, and everyone's like, that's what a textbook does. So, but the thing is, if you look at it the other way, look how, you know, such films as like Good Will Hunting, right, and like it makes it more accessible potentially, right?
So part of this conversation, we were talking about open source technology, and he was saying like, yeah, you guys go through all this stuff, all this proprietary stuff through Microsoft, through Google, and yada yada. And he's like, why don't you look at an open source option? And I was like, well, Microsoft and Google have they have good pitchmen, they have salesmen, they have the backing up of this massive corporation, as opposed to this open source community that I might understand how great an open source community can be, and using something like AI in an open source community to create security software and all these other things. Like, yeah, there are definitely purposes for it. And like you just said, yes, a textbook does that, but a textbook also costs how many hundreds of dollars,
and they make a new edition every year
as soon as it's printed. Exactly. And then now you have, because part of this conversation we were having was when, for example, in special education, there's an application, there's a system called ProLoQ. And PEX is also kind of along with it. Basically, it's like nonverbal kids or kids who have, you know, cognitive issues can communicate using symbols and icons and stuff like that. There's an app version of it where the kids can tap on the icons to basically communicate. And the application, I mean, I haven't looked at it in a couple of years, but last I checked, it was like a $200 application for an iPad. Right now, the hardware version of it 10 years ago cost a couple grand, and it was fragile and all this other stuff. When they made the app, everyone's like, oh my god, this is so much more accessible because the app's a couple $100 and iPad's a couple $100. But even then, it's like you look at this application, and if you had someone who is a programmer who looks at that, you're like, I can make this in a weekend. Like, this is really straightforward because it's supposed to be simple. It's for these kids to communicate. And it's like, if that could be something that could be open source, you know, if that could be something like the state has like a couple of programmers who they pay $60,000 to $70,000 a year to maintain this, instead of us paying $200 a head per special ed kid. Like, you know, the open source came up a lot in this conversation along with AI. And again, you talk about accessibility and how frustrating it is, and how these companies are like, oh, okay, cool, I know I can build these $10,000 smart boards and sell them exclusive to schools. And it's like, the schools can't afford to pay staff, but they got a technology grant, so they're able to buy these $10,000 smart screens that'll die in 5 years. Like, I'm getting down a rabbit hole, and I apologize.
That's okay.
That could be a whole podcast.
Who'd have thought Michael Crichton writings would actually sadly
shut up with
true.
Jurassic Park, you nerd.
I'm not talking Jurassic Park. The book Prey.
I'm talking about Jurassic Park
and AI. Yeah, doggies.
Sorry. You say Michael at all? I think, you know, I'm just like, oh, Jurassic Park. Here we go.
He's still waiting.
He made other books.
With that being said, we'll go on to some of our fun-filled, exciting questions in our second part of the show, where we involve the audience, which I definitely will encourage them to get involved in the show. Type in your questions in the chat, but also if you want to send us your questions, you know, on your own time, away after, you know, you're like, oh, I just watched a show, I should have thought this question, now I want to send it. nerdon.tv/questions is a great place to go if you want to be part of this community and continue the conversations we have on our streams. Go to nerdon.tv/discord. You can put your questions in the chat. You can also just join in, put your favorite things that you love on the different channels we have about movies, anime, memes, foods, furry friends, all that good stuff. Or just rant, get some off your chest, as long as it, you know, you know, keep the vibe, look at the room, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, also, if you want to support us, help us keep the lights on, and, you know, just, you know, help us out because you support, you believe in a couple of dudes talking about wrestling, technology, magic, and then whatever we talked about in the Discord green room, then, you know, send them 4 quarters over our way.
Oh,
oh, we just got a new patron.
Hey, nerdon.tv / Patreon to join the Nerd On Nation for as low as 4 quarters. And then you get put into the front of the line in the bin. And I asked our patrons today if they could refill our bin up, and they have. With such questions as Black Diablo Mamba asked us.
Shout out.
What was the latest DIY project that you have done by yourself? If you can, explain what it was and how did it make you feel when it was completed?
That's a good question. I can answer that. I pulled out built-in shelves into this closet in the office and just told them they were taking up a ton of space. They were super hard to open. I found playing game cards from like 1980 something and that PTA meeting slip from 1984, which was pretty fun to find. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. Now I have a ton of room for all 5 of my magic card boxes and a case of cables. You know, the cable drawer with all the cables that I don't want to throw out because I might need them.
Yeah, man, that's a staple of any person in their home.
You know,
cables. Gotta have cables.
Boy math.
Yeah. Boy math.
I think I have some RGB cables and all that kind of stuff.
As you
just
should.
in case. Just in case.
Dude, you never know when you're gonna
just in case the banks fail.
Look at this. See this right
Fire
here. I got
sale.
this
It was a
RGB.
fire sale.
I was around the corner. Old man, I believe he had passed away, and they put out a bunch of his stuff out on the curb. And I found a 1992 Zenith television, and then a 1989. It might be Zenith as well, like a little one. And I'm like, okay, well, this is perfect for me to connect the Super Nintendo to and the NES. Like, and I had those. Luckily, I had those cables. You know what I'm saying?
That's how a couple of movies start. You know, you buy the old man's TV, spirits inside the TV.
That I get sucked into it. Yeah.
I've been playing my Nintendo 64. We'll see if I need to, if I need backups. I got backups.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
But that felt good. Painted it, sanded it, all that fun stuff.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Tom, you have a deep in thought. Do you have?
Or the screen
Unfortunately,
freeze?
I even though as much as I respect the craft of like, you know, learn how to fix stuff and do things, most of the things that I've had to do that with were never like, I can fix it or I have to make something and I can jerry rig it so I can make it work. It's always like I buy a thing and I buy another thing, the things don't work together and I make them work. And so like, it's not really applicable of like getting my hands dirty of like actually crafting something. Like, for the question it asked, I could definitely put in my short film, but it's not really like a project that you DIY, you know? It's like if I made a bounce board or if
films you don't really DIY. You DI a lot of other people.
I do it other people.
A lot of other people.
I do it a lot of other people, you know?
I bet you do, Tom.
But like, I guess the closest thing I could think about
Say what I said.
is nope.
Nope.
Because like, so I had back in the day when we were recording remote, we used to use these Apogee mics, right? Now we use the Shure SM7, whatever the fuck these called. And then I had a different mic arm. And then in order for me to start using Spell Table, I had to like jerry rig one knuckle on top of another tripod head with the iPhone thing and then a charging thing to use a microphone arm to be the camera that could see the cards on the thing, which is like, it's not really DIY. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't.
Yes, it is.
That sounds very DIY.
That sounds super
totally
DIY.
You totally did.
The thing about DIY, Tom, is you have to buy stuff to do DIY. I had to buy paint, and I had to buy what's it called? What's the little handsaw?
Yeah, handsaw.
Yeah, but the little with the little whoop,
yeah,
half circle.
Yeah, sure,
anyway,
yeah.
I had to buy those two things, and I used them together to make this happen. So,
yeah. See, Tom, he did it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Like okay, so for example, I have two. One is slightly more like what Tom is describing, what he thinks is DIY, which is where like I got like I bought lumber and I cut it to size and I stained it and I got concrete and mixed it in a bucket and set some posts and we put some eye bolts in there and attached an awning so I could have like kind of like a so I could have kind of like a outdoor shed area, kind of like covered area outside my side yard. Or the other thing that it felt much better to do and is getting much more use is I bought an IKEA storage unit and I built it, and the way I installed it in our living room and the additions I added to it, I made yarn storage for my wife because she is big into crocheting. Big into crocheting right now. And so we had to find all these different kind of storage applications for all the different, yarns and stuff that she has. So that was a little more like, I built something that I bought, but like I bought an IKEA shelf, but like the application of it, and the things that we did, and it's cool because now we get to like have all her yarn on display, which itself looks like very aesthetically pleasing, and she has access to all that stuff, so it feels good. She's able to engage with her hobby. Like I don't see that thing I built outside as much, but it did serve a purpose, and I felt really good, getting it all set up. So
see, like the spectrum of what I do is like Tom Hanks finding an ice skate and making a spear out of it, and then the spectrum of what Barry just did was like, I make fire, it's like they're both it, but one's a little you just took the thing one apart and put it on a stick.
We did it ourselves.
Steve's?
I repaired our closet because my wife's shelving had all collapsed, and turned out it should have had.
You were doing pull-ups on it?
I was, and gotta get my workouts in.
Edge and John Cena were talking to each other, and you were doing.
Yeah, I was Rey Mysterio in the back, and it fell off. Yeah, there were only 3 arms holding it from the previous owner, and it should have had like 6. So I made it 6, and it's up now. Fine. Yeah, I did that, and then I got up on a ladder with a big saw and trimmed my palm trees.
It's a hacksaw, by the way, is what I was.
Oh, okay.
I usually trim my bonsai, Steve's.
Is that what you call your pubes?
Hey-o!
I mean, if Steve's trims his palm tree, then I trim my bonsai.
I actually do trim my bonsai, which is
you should. It makes the roots look bigger.
Yeah, it does. I also have to fertilize it.
Not sponsored.
I water it every day.
I thought your neighbor was fertile. That's the other one.
The mailman, the milkman.
All right. Next question. Okay. Great question, Devil Mamba. All right. Next one comes from Jose Cipher. What country do you want to visit?
Damn it, Cipher.
And what sites do you want to see?
Just one?
What country do you want to see?
Italy.
And what sites?
I got like 10.
Food.
Yes, there he is.
One country.
Italy. Food.
Steve's.
Japan. Just the culture.
Barry.
Okay, I was gonna say Japan. So instead, I will
Italy.
say
Food.
Italy. Food. I already did that once.
Damn it!
So I'll say Greece is actually one that we really wanted to go to, and we might be going to for our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's what's
But yeah, so Greece, and I mean,
Food.
Yeah, food, 100% food, and
Greek food is so good.
And the fucking history of most civilizations, like not all. I'm not one of those people that thinks Greece
about the Roman
really,
Empire.
Yeah, I do think about the Roman Empire very frequently, but not because I'm a misogynistic racist, because I enjoy world history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a crucible of democracy and Western civilization, and all that shit.
Brad Pitt was there fighting Eric Banya. I remember. Yeah.
Banya? Is his name Banya?
I don't know if it's Banya or Bana.
I thought it was Bana.
Banya is when he's trying to impress people. Bana is when he's at home.
I'm Eric
Banya with all his white folks.
Yes, there it is.
And he wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Anyway, so for me, when I'm not thinking about the Roman Empire, I think about drinking. But no,
nice.
So I like all your answers. I probably would have picked all of those.
I think about the 2008 Bob Saget roast by Norm Macdonald. Twice a day.
I would.
Good reference.
I would. I'm going to choose. I've been on a big Cillian Murphy kick lately, and I don't know why. But it's probably because I saw Dave Bautista have a tattoo that looks like him, and he says it's supposed to look like him, and everyone's like, it's him, and he's like, I guess I do. But then I ended up seeing this one, and it was pretty much Killian Murphy saying the best place to drink in Ireland is Cork City. So I'll go to Cork City in Ireland.
My brother-in-law will confirm.
All right.
Did you see the interview where he talked about the worst direction he ever got?
Yep. And it's why I never put that artistic part of me out there in front of the people I work with. Because that shit will spoil a relationship.
I'd like to say that from all our answers, I think from what I've seen, we have great ocean views for all 4 of our responses. Nice. I like that. Good job.
Yeah, nice.
Good job, team.
I just want to go make a shot-for-shot remake of Gladiator.
You want to be Stanley Tucci and just trying out all the Italian stuff that's there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to clap them Stanley two cheeks.
If I don't leave 15 to 20 pounds heavier, I didn't do it right.
You didn't.
Yeah. No, we went
the gelato alone will get you.
Dude, for our honeymoon, we went to London, Paris, and Rome. And when we were in Rome, we went to the Colosseum.
Yeah.
It's real the stuff. Okay, so as again, anthropology degree, archaeology, everything else, like the stuff they're doing to the Colosseum as far as like studying it and what's the word I'm looking for? Like restoring parts of it and like basically try to determine like what the technology was that was used to create the lift and all these other things. Like it's so fucking cool. Like it's amazing.
I actually want to pick your brain about that in the Discord.
Yeah, but then the food. We found this little restaurant near our
guys. I am trying to listen to this.
I'm doing the Gladiator music.
I'm doing Indiana Jones because he's an archaeology major.
They by the end we went there like multiple times, and by the end like the owner like knew us when we walked in. We were only there for a couple days, but he was basically like these are these Americans who are celebrating their marriage.
Yeah.
And like so we would sit down and he would like already knew what we wanted because we got the same thing like 3 days in a row, and then he would like bring us a bunch of other shit. He'd bring us drinks and desserts. Like it was
I gotta go.
The underground,
Go.
the subway, the worst of the 3, but still
I'm sure of it. My mom liked Florence. I think was her favorite place. I got. Did you guys see that post that?
Steve, shut the fuck up.
I can't do it. I can't talk with.
Stay with me. Sorry.
There was a post that Russell Crowe made with his family. They took a trip to Rome. He's like taking my kids to the old office. They didn't care.
Just thinking of that.
I like the one where
he's outside.
I like the one where Guillermo del Toro posts a picture of Russell Crowe now after the Pope's exorcist. You know, Russell Crowe's a little bigger than he used to be. And he's a giant beard. Yeah. And Guillermo del Toro said, "My happiness and dream in life is that one day Russell Crowe will look like me." Next question, last question of the pre-selects is going to be from T-Dog8282. This is a great question. I was holding this off until we had a full group. What's your guilty pleasure Halloween movie?
I don't have a guilt about it, but
yeah, wait, Tom, what was your answer for that last one?
Ireland, Cork City.
Got it.
Guilty pleasure Halloween movie.
Guilty pleasure Halloween movie?
Guilty pleasure Halloween movie.
I don't know if I have guilty pleasure.
Are there
Halloween,
any porn
but I'll
movies?
entertain this.
I'm like a
Halloween. Halloweener.
Hello.
Hollow Millimeter Peter.
I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure one. Because I
The
unironically
G-string.
love like Casper and Hocus Pocus and
I'm not guilty about it, but go ahead, Barry. Yeah.
Corey, you might experience this now as a father. Steve, you probably already have experience. On a certain streaming service, there is a certain cartoon about children who go to a preschool, and then when the sun goes down, they turn into monsters. And you know, Frankie is the the son of Frankenstein, and yada yada. They have movies, like they have they have like the show, and then they have like the full lengths.
yeah.
I mean, they're not really full lengths; they're still children's movies. They're 45 minutes. Gotta say, like,
Slaps.
yeah, they're tons of fun. They're tons of fun. Like, I'm a fan of the super monsters. And not just because I have the children, but like it's they're not on like a Bluey level, but like there are some children's things that I'm like, okay, I'm getting something out of this.
I haven't experienced the blue level stuff yet, but I am
You're
ready
in
for it.
a fucking ride, homie. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. But yeah, I think the super monster stuff is fun. And I'd say that's a guilty pleasure because it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's kids shows. Like you guys said, like for the most part, most Halloween stuff I watch, like I also don't do horror a lot. So like that's, if I'm watching something, it's with intention. Like Halloween Town is kind of
That's the only one I can kind of think of where I'm like,
yeah,
but
because you think like made for TV kind of cheesiness, like that's about it.
Yeah.
What used to bug me with Halloween Town when I watched it was like,
we have Debbie.
It's Halloween Town. Why is it always daytime?
I saw her at
I know
the
it's cheaper to film. I get that.
I saw her at the Walmart I go to.
Oh, yeah?
Debbie Reynolds is dead.
No, Marnie.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Oh, okay, because I said you got Debbie in there.
No, Marnie.
Okay.
But she was dead the whole time.
I do see her because she's always with me.
Aw.
Debbie Reynolds?
It's a weird choice.
Out of
Nothing
all the
wrong with
people.
that, but-
Why not?
No kink shaming here.
Mine's
Only King asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, only keep asking. Mine's like, I guess I'd be guilty because it's this filmmaker's like lowest rated film, but I love it, and my brother-in-law and I literally spit lines from it every time. Mel Brooks's Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
That's an incredible movie. I don't know
I
what you're
love
talking
that
about.
movie so much. Just Leslie Nielsen's Dracula. It's spoofing both the original
I
1931.
fly. You don't.
You don't. And Bram Stoker's Dracula at the same time. Oh yes, of course. He flies. I don't. I didn't see anything. I saw everything.
I was having a day, man. It's an incredible movie. Dan and I watched it last year. I hadn't watched it for probably 3 or 4 years, and I went back to it and I was like, "This is Leslie Nielsen just can't do wrong." I'm sorry. I love Leslie Nielsen.
That was Mel Brooks's wife, Anne Margaret, doing the.
I didn't know that.
She's no longer with us, but yeah, it just there's so many lines in the movie. I'm British, and so are these.
So are these.
No, anyway. Dracula Dead Loving It. I can't stop quoting.
You know, I mean, you probably already know this, but for those of you who don't, the blood scene, Mel Brooks did not tell the actor how much blood there was going to be, and I think it was something like 100 to 200 gallons of blood.
Put newspaper down.
It's incredible, and his reaction is 100% genuine. The first moment.
She's almost dead.
Barry?
I think she's dead enough.
Barry, did you have one?
He just did.
He said kind of Halloween Town-ish.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
but
Halloween
also
Town-ish.
the kid ones.
Yeah,
The
the
monsters.
monsters.
Okay, and then Corey, what was yours?
I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure Halloween movie. I'm looking at lists. That's how heavy I'm digging.
Oh,
That's how heavy I'm digging.
is this one?
Tachanium.
Go on.
That man.
I mean, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day? I don't even know that one.
That's the wrong holiday.
Wait, that's the romantic comedy.
No, that's
February.
maybe it's just called Valentine. It's the David Boreanaz one.
Valentine with Angel. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and he's got
Valentine.
the bloody nose and shit.
Which is a
Spoilers.
remake, I think?
All fucking spoilers.
It's a remake, I believe.
Because it's like a bad movie, right?
Yeah,
Never
I
heard of it
mean,
before.
yeah, it came out, and the whole marketing behind it was that
I
Angel's in
mean,
it. That was it.
Is the Faculty bad?
No, Faculty's great.
I love
Robert
the
Rodriguez, you kidding
Faculty.
me? Faculty's fantastic.
You know what? I'm gonna go again.
Faculty's fantastic. Oh, I want to watch that one now.
I think I'm gonna go with
MTV promoted that.
not the
shit.
bees.
Wicker Man?
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
but I love them.
Very good. It's kind of like
It's
how
hard-
do you?
it's hard.
Oh,
He's in that
you know
bear
what?
costume
Okay,
and
I
just
got
runs
it.
by and smacks them like
Corey,
not the bees.
the one that you
You
hate,
bitches.
Willy's Wonderland.
Bitches.
Oh, this.
I do like it. I
Ooh.
do like it. It's fucking
don't
so
know that
fucking
one.
dumb.
I don't know that one.
It's so bad and
It's
dumb,
so, dude.
but I love it.
Willy's Wonderland. I don't know that
Do you,
one.
I
know
don't
it.
want
Okay.
to spoil it, but it's a Nick Cage-led film of like a precursor of Five Nights at Freddy.
I say
Really?
the story every time we talked about this. I remember it being over and Tom turning to me and going, it was 99-cent rental that I made. And Tom
Okay.
turned to me and went, I'll give you your $1 back.
because I can tell he was like,
okay.
not about it. And I was
Okay.
like, hey man,
Not about
because to me, I was like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? Like 30 minutes in, I'm like, is this still really happening? Albert, I can't believe they got away with this. That was me.
Doing to the furniture.
So, do we want to do one question from the bin or from
one more because we took a long time with our news and all that
we
stuff.
did.
Okay.
We did.
T-Dog8282 asks, question, who was the great Gump guesser, Supreme guesser of 2022?
I'll also say another guilty pleasure movie. Final Destination.
Inside joke.
yes.
Corey's has been calculating this since like February.
Yeah, I have.
But the let's do another one. Let's see if there's any spooky, scary. 51 Jonathan question: who do you listen to during Halloween night? Rob Zombie or Marilyn Manson?
I have a fantastic answer for this. And David Barry knows because I was explaining to him my situation like last year in my Halloween playlist. I used to have both Rob and Marilyn on that playlist. I removed Marilyn from my entire Halloween playlist because of recent news regarding Evan Rachel Wood. So Rob Zombie's the answer. Like the only Rob just nails it for me. The only thing I have Marilyn is the Rob Zombie cover of Helter Skelter because Marilyn joins him on that song. Otherwise, it's Rob.
The only Marilyn Manson song I have is his Christmas crossover with Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" and "Beautiful People" remix.
Happened?
It not officially.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But if you wanna hear a song that strangely slaps, like that's
Okay.
Look that up tonight at Steve's and give me a text and see what tell me what you think.
On it.
This is to me, this question is like,
Because
it's like asking Gordon Ramsay if he likes like a Big Mac or like a Whopper. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep, he's right. This is knowing Barry. Come on. Yeah, go ahead.
it's just not
so
no,
good.
but no.
Because all you want is In-N-Out.
Versus asking a raccoon, do you like a
Like
Big
Anthony
Mac or
Bourdain
a
said,
Whopper?
all I want is In-N-Out.
Dude, yeah, Anthony Bourdain, his description of In-N-Out, I just send that to when anyone talks shit on In-N-Out, I'm like, just watch Anthony Bourdain.
I do the same thing. Like here,
Shut
it's
the
all
fuck
the
up.
definitive proof I need.
I even before the shit came out about Marilyn Manson, I thought Rob was always better because Rob, like, he specifically, like, Marilyn Manson tried to go for like this creepy kind of goth aesthetic for his whole career, whereas Rob Zombie very much like he leaned really heavily into like the old school horror themes and like would like, you know, incorporate that the sound clips and the feel and stuff into his music and his imagery. So I've always thought Rob Zombie is a better goth horror kind of rock and roll star.
Rob has a better voice too.
Yeah, and then Marilyn Manson, he had his moments. He definitely, like, there were certain points, and then like you said, when the stuff came out, it was like, okay, cool, you know, it's
Nail in the coffin.
yeah, it like people blaming Marilyn Manson for like Columbine and shit like that was always like, no, there's other stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, cool, here's like legitimate, you know, allegations and stuff. It's like, yeah, well, okay, fucking piece of shit, that's fine. And I have no problem. I'm not very good at separating art from artists, so it's much easier for me to just be like, all right, cool, remove from library.
I just remember sometimes when I was in control of the music being played in the Genius at the Genius Room, whenever I got Rob on, I could always count on David Barry's hair going along.
Yeah, because they didn't appreciate when David would be like, oh, I'm fixing iPhones, I'm listening to fucking Cannibal Corpse, so I listen to when I fix some fucking iPhones.
I appreciated it, and by the way, thank you for showing me Unleash the Archers. I love that goddamn band.
Unleash
Wait,
the Archers.
the band from Ace Ventura?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Unleash the Archers.
My answer is Dead Man's Bones. It's Ryan Gosling's band. He released an entire Halloween album.
Yes.
And it's fucking great.
Okay.
And it's called the band is also named Dead Man's Bones, but the album is called Dead Man's Bones.
Adding it.
Then
Mojo Casa House.
Yes.
If Corey's gonna break the question, then I'll break the question. I prefer a Tracy Jordan Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, written by Donald Glover.
Written and performed. Tracy Morgan had
Tracy
to leave
Jordan.
Right. But in reality, Tracy Morgan had to leave halfway through recording the song, so Donald Glover does an impression for the rest of it, and it's hard to tell which is which.
Also, shout out to T-Dog for subscribing for 23 months. Thank you.
Ow!
Nice.
It's so funny.
The band name is Dead Man's Bones.
Dead Man's Bones.
Sorry,
I was actually like
replying to the chat.
I was dirtling the Werewolf Bar Mitzvah song, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like, how am I the guy that knows the comedy show? And you guys
Uncultured
don't?
Swines.
It's crazy.
White
It's crazy.
Zombies cover of Boogeyman. It's fantastic.
Baby You're a Haunted House by Gerard Way is actually a fantastic single.
My
Oh.
Chemical would have a great Halloween album.
100%. Halloween, everything from Halloween, because I mean it's in the fucking name. Halloween. Come on. Powerwolf, if you're looking for some German werewolves. Are we going down this? Are we going down the rabbit hole?
John
You showed me
Carpenter.
Yep.
Here we go.
We're gonna play songs from my movies.
But if you
My
ever
fit.
listen to like each Halloween movie like opening and they do like a whole compilation of it, slaps.
Yeah.
Fucking slaps. And
Yeah,
it gets
I told you about
harder
that
and
as Days,
harder
right?
as the years go on. You're like, fuck.
I went to go see John Carpenter live.
You did. And I was so jealous of you.
That is the greatest opening to a concert I've ever. I'm John Carpenter, and I'm gonna play songs from my movies. And then just went straight into
Whitest
Christine.
hair in the world, and it's still.
And
in
his
the
son. Oh, he goes,
ponytail.
no, he
Still
said,
in the
I'm
ponytail.
John Carpenter. That's my son, and I'm gonna play
Cody
songs from
Cody
my
Carpenter.
You know, that's actually super mirroring of fucking Vegeta talking to Cell. It's like, I'm a Super Saiyan, and that's my son Trunks. He's also a Super Saiyan.
He was so proud of his kid though on stage. It was cool to see.
Hell yeah. All right. That's going to end it for the night,
Busted
y'all.
makes me feel good.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry we didn't get to more of the chat questions, but we got them for next time. So.
We had too much fun.
Too much
here.
fun. 4 minutes, so many people, so much chatting. Thank you for everyone swinging by. Jonathan Horror, or 51 Jonathan, Black Diablo Mamba, T-Dog, all you lurkers up in there. Send all the questions. Let's go find someone we could raid, send over the love. Give
Brad.
Brad
that's pretty
P
sweet.
playing Lies of P, the Dark Souls-like game set in the world of Pinocchio. Sounds cool.
What's the chat? What's the raid message, Tom?
Chat's gonna be
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. It's a great one. Quality family enjoyment. Thank you,
Dracula
everyone.
dead
Check out
loving it.
nerdon.tv for all of our episodes. Keep an eye on that YouTube. We got a new thing coming out soon. Josh is working on it. Don't know when, but it's going to come out. And then check out the podcast feeds because that'll happen. And then also you get to see this if you don't check out the VODs on our YouTube on Wednesdays. Thank you. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate. Take care of your loved ones. Y'all all know the drill. As always, nerd
Nerd on.
Fushta.
Werewolf.